Mexico's Vlog, Receding Horizons. Welcome to a new episode. And I know I've been slacking off. Just a lot to do. So much to do, so little time. I also have to do my research. And, normal requirements of life. But still, I refuse to let that stop me from what I'm interested in doing, and that is finding out truth about this world, what's going on. And not only that, but I think I've come across or I've stumbled upon something big, and I feel like it's safe to say it here because not many people will see it. So as long as I make it available for those who seek it, I think that's the most important thing. And let's hope that those who can make sense of it will make sense of it. Those who can find benefit from it will benefit from it. And those who just think I'm crazy, you keep doing that. Okay? Now, where to start from? I started this journey. I feel like it's 3 years ago. My friends tell me it's 2 years ago, so I can't really tell which is which. But nonetheless, when I was in campus, I was in Daystar University, right? Doing my master's in psychology. And I into my master's, I was really coming across blockades, for lack of a better word, to my mental process when it comes to some of the things that the teacher would bestow upon us as students, but we would not, or I would not find it digestible. Things like when it came to abnormal psychology, and they talk about chemical imbalance in the brain, right? And they say that some of the mental disorders is because of chemical imbalance in the brain, but no psychologist, right, takes any brain samples to look at what is imbalance where. In fact, I still believe that to mainstream science, the brain is still a mystery. Mainstream because there are some other people out there who have cracked the code with the help of something else altogether that is beyond human. Amazing that I'm coming across the fallacies when it comes to evolution. My eyebrows started raising when I started looking for this entity we call the devil, right? Because there's a lot of evil in this world, and good people are suffering. And I thought that if I am to seek the Most High, if I am to change my ways, because I have lived a sinful life, I have lived a deceitful life, and as I'm growing older, I'm given a chance to start again afresh and let go of everything else that I had held so strongly towards me. And let me begin where I started, because I went all the way to looking at aliens and crop circles, right? And finding out why aliens are busy abducting guys and doing like harvesting fetuses, taking samples, right? And I come to discover that the fallen angels that came down on Mount Hermon, right, what we would call Atlantis, the ones that were worshipped by our forefathers, the Egyptians, the Sumerians, Babylonians, the serpent. These fallen angels, once they came down in the book of Enoch, hold on one second, hold on one second. So anyway, when these beings descended on Mount Hermon, what our forefathers called Atlantis, they say that if you look at the book of Enoch, these angels came down and they taught human beings certain things. There's one who taught them the art of warfare, others who taught them. Mommy, my name is on.
Oh, sorry.
It is on. The art of warfare. There are some who taught women the art of seduction. Okay, Mom. Love you. The art of seduction. And also, they taught men the art of war. They taught men the art of war as well. So you realize some of these things that we think are generic to us are actually acquired from beings that go beyond this dimension. Not only that, but when they came down, it is something about the splicing of genetic material from different species, because we know that animal species have a certain perception that is wider than the human being. Some animals have can see UV spectrum, which is a larger broad spectrum than what we can see, because we see the light spectrum, a very small portion of the light spectrum. And by mixing these genes together, somehow the souls of the fallen angels could be born again into these beings that were then hailed as ancient gods for time immemorial. One thing you realize also is that they say that angels are eternal. God is eternal. So these angels and God and original man in his purest form, because God made man perfect, not in the way we are today, because man has fallen. If you look at ancient depictions of the giants with the big skulls and the 6 fingers, these beings are huge, stronger, and also realize that the what do you call it? What is the other name for teenage? Not prepubescent adult. Yeah, the puberty period, right? I hope it's the right term I'm using. But the puberty period for these beings that came before us was way, way longer before they developed into adulthood. In fact, a 30-year-old man would be considered a 16-year-old if we were in our original form. And you also realize that the animals were larger before Noah's flood. Everything was large actually. Look at the fossils, and there's a big thing whereby they're hiding evidence of fossils and they give us bullshit stories about what happened. And you know, for many people, you look at these things and life continues. But if you are in search of truth, you have to follow that truth even though if it's uncomfortable, even though if it's none of your beliefs. Because sometimes you do realize that there's a lot of deception in this world, and for you to break free from the programming, you have to be as a child before the programming came into place, for you to understand some of the things that happen in this world. And that's why in comic books and video games, all these beings can be put in as fictional characters. And when you go back to the character history, they tell you, oh, it's an ancient god who's believed. How is it that they believed and then someone just has the right story to the right portion, to the right details? And if you look at if you take a cup, a glass, and you take that and put it in water and you shake it up, the layers will settle according to sediments. And it's the same thing how the layers of the earth are. They're sedimented. Not only that, but you realize that you have portions and layers and fractions of the earth whereby you have trees standing still going through the layers, which literally means that they cannot be different ages. In fact, if you look at some of the fossils, you'll realize that, but I'm not even showing you guys some of this evidence because people do not search for their own information. The best way is for you to not believe me so that you can go down and find your own truth, whatever it takes you, because I have no agenda. I'm not being paid to do this. Yeah? So some of the fossils that were taken in place are taken in place whereby you find like some of the dinosaurs amidst giving birth. Some of the fish, while feeding, while swallowing another fish, and they're stuck in place. It's like all of a sudden the whatever happened, whatever flood happened, or whatever came down so rapidly that nothing had time to prepare. And if you look at the earth, you'll see at the bottom of the sea, you'll see cracks from which, when the land comes up and comes out of the water, and is what we call the continents that we live in. And these cracks look like as if they were gushed open and water surged up so fast, with so much pressure, so hot and so high, it could have reached the sky, way past the sky, towards almost beyond the sky, actually, to what we call nearly the ozone layer. This thing goes all the way up. Okay? And you realize that Noah's ark was built in a box shape, and it was not meant to really go anywhere. And when the water comes up and comes down on the earth, basically the animals are rocked as the water builds up, and it floats for a while, and the water subsides and it comes down, probably drifting off a few kilometers, but not so much. And God's people, once they came from the ark, were taken over by Nimrod. Right? And Nimrod is signified by the raven's wings, and he's holding a bow with a beard. Not only that, but you realize that the raven was also sent out by Noah, and after that he sent a dove, and the dove came back with this plant that signifies peace, not an orchard, whatever it is. And it looks like it was a sign from God saying that I will not destroy humanity anymore by water and floods. But I believe the alternative is better, because he's going to do fire next, the Almighty. Another deception I came to find out is that the true name of Lucifer is Jehovah, Yahweh, Yah, YHVH, the Tetragrammaton, the God of the Jews. And it's so funny that the Jews call themselves Jewish, because it signifies spiritually that they do insinuate the Jew culture or the Jew heritage, but they are not true Jews. And the 12 tribes of Israel, by the way, let me tell you something. All this thing has been happening because of the 12 tribes of Israel, God's people. Right? Another deception is that the Messiah is called Jesus. Christ is the anointed one. It's a title. But Jesus is not his name. His name is Yoshaya. And the name of the Most High is Ahaya. The one. I am. That's what it means. And you ask yourself, how many people know the true name of God? Because God says, do not use my name in vain. And they give us these other names so that we revere them, but are they really the name of God? They are not the name of God. Many people do so much bad, evil, and deceptions when it comes to these gods that they say they worship and they honor. Yahweh, the devil, Lucifer, required, and today I think the devil and Lucifer are not the same person, but the angel that fell will be worshipped as God himself, and that's his goal. And his name is Yahweh. And Yahweh demands child sacrifice, which is interesting, because child sacrifice and pedophilia is one of the things that occultists and the high priests will engage in. And it's only interesting that the priests in the Catholic Church are also involved in sleeping around with boys. And under the Vatican, they found skulls and skeletal remains of children. Under the Vatican, you have, they call them catacombs. Catacombs would refer to, we have chambers, and one is dedicated to Lucifer. What? And also, the Catholic Church, the papacy, has the most advanced telescope looking out into space with a Lucifer device attached to it. So you tell me, how is it that the helm of spirituality that is called Rome happens to have pagan symbols involved in their worship? Sunday worship is sun worship. The Sabbath begins from Friday night to Saturday night. Christmas is not the birthday of Yeshua. Someone is only born once. You cannot be born once every year. And by worshipping that cyclic and practicing that cyclic ritual, you come to realize that it is a deception upon itself. That they take the Most High, His child, Yeshua, who came to save us from what Adam had fallen from. If you look at the story of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Shem and Japheth were the sons that got the blessings of Noah. Ham was the one who looked upon the nakedness of Noah when he was drunken. And Shem and Ham walked backwards and covered their father. There's something about this shaming, because also in Adam and Eve, they found out that they were naked and God made them clothes of skin. It is as if they were greater beings and they had to be put in these bodies of skin made out of cells. A cell is a prison, and it became our prison because we had fallen from grace by trying to acquire the tree of knowledge. And by acquiring the tree of knowledge, God kept us away from the tree of life, because if we were taken from the tree of life, that means that we were immortal. But following that we had taken or partaken of the tree of knowledge, it would mean that we would be as gods, and the Most High could not allow that to happen. And hence, the bloods of the Canaanites, or the daughters of Cain, children of Cain. And remember, the fallen angels came down upon the women of the descendants of Cain. Okay? And then you begin to trace this bloodline that appears, and through Nimrod taking over the people after they had come out of the ark and had started repopulating the lands that were barren, began again the infiltration of this snake upon different cultures, upon different places. Is it interesting now that what I was going to say before, that the fallen angels were mixing DNA of human beings and animals, and they were coming up with giants. They were mixing their DNA with the DNA of human women. They were getting giants. Because at that time, man was still in his perfection. He was still a perfect form. He had not yet gone through the fall of man. Right? And when man fell, we lost almost about 80 to 90% of our brain capacity. Now we only use 10%. And most of our DNA was shut off. And now we became smaller, weaker. We live less years. And things start making sense. When they were talking about Noah having brought in through the Most High a hire, two of every kind, of every species, of every animal upon the earth, you realize that it does not mean that they had to take 2 cats, 2 tigers, 2 lions. No. It means that you take 2 of the canine kind, 2 of the cat kind, 2 of the mammalian kind when it comes to things like the wild boar, the domestic pig come from the same family. Horse, ponies, donkeys come from the same family. Chihuahuas, Labradors, all kinds of dogs come from the same family. And then you realize that you don't need millions, you just need thousands. If you take these animals when they are young, then you don't need that much space. And something begins to happen. You start realizing that there's something going on. Now, all this was for God's salvation of his people, the 12 tribes of Israel. And from the Hebrews, under Abraham, to the people of the Essenes, Josiah, the Messiah, came through. A young man who came in speaking new things, and people had no idea what he's talking about. And he said, I am not coming to destroy the law, but I'm coming to fulfill it. The law of the Old Testament is not coming to be broken, but is going to be confirmed. And now people don't look at the Old Testament, they've given us the New Testament to focus on. People are getting lost. Is it interesting that all nations on the left side of Israel, we write from the right to the left, and all nations on the right side of Israel write from the right to the left? And it's as if something is pointing towards Israel, telling us that that's the focus, that's the key point, the people of God, the Most High. The Levites were the priesthood, the one that gives sacrifices, the ceremonial worships. And the Levites are who we call the Haitians. Isn't it interesting that the Haitians are known for voodoo and witchcraft and magic and all that, because they are aware and they are skilled in that craft. And they were punished the most because of worshiping Yahweh. Yahweh was the calf that was made, the golden calf that was made at the bottom of Mount Hermon. Is it interesting? Not Mount Hermon, Mount Sinai. I'm sorry. Mount Sinai. And isn't it interesting, on Mount Sinai, at the peak of Mount Sinai is black as coal, which is like as if lightning struck that place. And I just saw the rock that is said to have been the one that Moses hit, opened up, and it bore forth water. And it is scary to realize that everything that we did not think was true, and everything we thought that was true was not true. Because the implications of us living the life that we live today, focused on money and hustle and getting bitches, fuck bitches, get money, is one that leads to destruction of our own soul, our death. That if the Sabbath is on Friday evening to Saturday evening, why would they have, thank God it's Friday, on a Friday? Because it means on the day of the Sabbath, which is today, Sabbath is about to begin, right? Right here it's 3:35. You realize that it's the day that people are most promiscuous, doing everything, having the most fun, drinking and engaging in all sorts of things. And if there's any truth to what I'm saying, then we are in trouble. The tribe of Judah, the Negroes, are the lions. That's why the tribe of Judah, if they do something, the black culture does something in America, all other tribes follow, without knowing. Now, coming to where we are today, the Syrians are the last of God's people who are still intact and are being destroyed. They are being murdered by us, massacred by Israel. And once that is done, they will go against Iran. The battle of Gog and Magog, people. Armageddon. And after Armageddon, the devil himself will go against the Most High with the intention of taking over God's kingdom. And that's why the Messiah, Yeshua, came down the first time as a sheep among wolves, peaceful, carrying the message of peace. The next time he comes, he's not going to do the same thing. Only the devil loves everyone. Only a pedophile will try and get you by telling you, I love you, I love you, I love you. But the Most High says, I'm coming to destroy and separate the chaffs from what is that is meant to be salvaged. And that is why the road to heaven is a path of the straight and the narrow. Now, guys see a narrow and they don't understand, but it means narrow. It means very few people will make it. When some of these celebrities sell their soul, you come and realize that they're fucked. There's nothing they can do. It's already done. It's done. It's done. The best thing they can do is just bring down as many people as they can with them. It doesn't matter if you are good, you're ready, sold your soul. Now, I don't know if they know what their soul is, but they just say, I sold myself to the devil. And even though it was a crappy deal, it came with a few happy meals. Kanye West. A gentleman who is talented beyond the average, but had to give up his mom as a sacrifice for the blessings that he had. So did all other celebrities. That's why you see so many people are dying. An interesting thing that I came across are they're called humanoids, robotoids. These are beings that look like us but are not human. They are synthetic. They have been created. And when they say celebrities are going for programming, it means that they are being replaced with their clones. Michael Jordan has been replaced. Oprah has been replaced. Eminem has been replaced. Dr. Dre has been replaced. So many. And now in the videos they show you Eminem in a cage writing lyrics for another Eminem who is outside the cage, and this Eminem performs. And spiritually people do not understand the significance. Beyonce is not the Beyonce who was in Destiny's Child. And now this Michelle comes up with a song, when Jesus says yes, nobody can say no. Jesus is not Yeshua. It's the devil. And people have been saying no to God so many times. So I don't even play around with that stuff. So, in short, we are living in the last days. We are living in the last days, people. We are living in the freaking last days and we don't even know it. And now they just brought in the mark of the beast. Obamacare is out. Ebola is out. And Ebol means Hebrew in some African cultures. And it is a disease that is genetically predisposed to attacking a certain line of people. Watch out for the zombie apocalypse, because they have been talking about bath salts, but these guys don't have bath salts in the system. The people who are eating other people's faces off. And if you watch Resident Evil, you realize that there's normally a test run to see what is happening in the field, how are people reacting before everything comes out. You've seen with Obama there have been certain breaches when it comes to the White House, which means basically that when you're doing surveillance, the third step is normally testing security. Skip a row, skip a fence and see who is responding. Cut off the telecommunications and find out how long it takes for them to notice. Small things like that give indicators of where the weakness in security is, and you can take advantage of that. And they will come against and after Obama, the person who was loved by everyone but has come to be such a dick, because he was meant to be a dick when they were before. A homosexual. Okay. So, if you take the mark of the beast, you are irredeemable. I'll repeat that again. If you take the mark of the beast, you are irredeemable. Your soul is gone. There's nothing you can do. That shit is done. Now you tell me how many people, when the economy finally falls and there's no money system anymore, and it's coming down because all money is created on debt, intentionally, so that it will come a time where they will say, anyone who has money has debt. And for all that to be wiped away, we have to move to another system. A cashless system. They started out with cards, they're using phones, bitcoins, and now you can use your iPhone 6 and you can use a chip. And I don't know why they linked the two, but I don't ignore anything because they don't say it by mistake. Now people can put their chips in to open doors and pay for it, for convenience. But if you take that, it's done. It's over. You might as well just go and sell potatoes or just ball out, because the rest of your life is done. But for those of us who seek the Most High and who will give up everything, our houses, our homes, our money, our family, our friends, our loved ones, everyone who we care about will not make the decision that we want to make for ourselves. And it will come to a point whereby now we have to go away. If they give the Ebola vaccine, they're saying, oh, Ebola will become rampant, Ebola will kill many people, let's rush and make a vaccine. I mean, what trial period do they have before the next step comes? Isn't it interesting that the CDC has affiliations with Monsanto, with affiliations to the vaccine of Ebola? And if you know anything about Monsanto, you know that that is already a bad sign that whatever is coming to destroy all of us, guys, and we are not ready for it. You're busy sitting in the house watching Patikana. Don't know that you're Patikana. Hands down, pants down, hands on your dick, guilty as charged, and there's nothing you can do about it. Isn't it scary that all these things they've been doing with NASA and the fake NASA footage and they're going to the moon and all that, they have been weaponizing space. The Vatican has a telescope because they know that something is coming. They think it's Planet X, or something is coming. People are seeing two suns, you have the blood moons coming, signs that the time is nigh for the return of the Most High Yeshua to establish His kingdom on earth. The rapture scripture, from what I understand so far, is a deception. For you to be in grace with God, and I take that back, for you to be in grace with a higher, the Most High, you have to suffer in this world. You have to give up something for you to receive. What is bound in heaven is bound on earth. What is loosed in earth is loosed in heaven. It's all this, as above, so below. And you come to realize that. Look at Israel today. Look at the black people. Look at the 12 tribes of Israel as well. And it's not only black people, but guys, look, as much as I'm doing what I'm doing and pursuing music and all that, I know there'll be a time to come when I have to leave everything I love and walk away. And I'm ready. I might look crazy, but there's something going on. And I know. I don't believe it. I don't hope it to be true. I know it is true. And what's coming is coming. I hope I'll be ready, because I know I'm not the most upright person, and no person is good, only God is good. And that's why the Most High has to come with the ambassador of himself as his son, Yeshua, who laid his life upon us so that we can get pardon from God, because we cannot face justice. Because if we stand against God's justice, we all fail, and we will be judged according to everything we have done. So this is a message for all those people who are suffering. All of us who don't have the usual, the normal, the everyday things that people floss about. Those of us who gave up what we like, people we love, to start a new life again, afresh, to be humble, to be meek, to seek the Most High in the best way we know how, amidst a world whereby to find God is almost impossible. To find the Most High is almost impossible. I'm used to the word God so much, but I know there's a deception in the word God itself. The Most High has only one name, Ahaya. Now that's why he said, do not use my name in vain. I only have one. But I've given us Jesus, Jehovah. I've given us Yahweh. I've given us Yah, Jah. Be strong for those who suffer, because it is in your suffering that your salvation is hidden. For those who are boiling right now, it is in the boiling right now that the suffering is hidden. The Most High has gotten me out through so many situations that I can no longer ignore the truth of what I've come across. If you look at the original Bible, the King James Version, the book of Ruth, the book of Joshua, the book of Enoch, the Apocrypha, books that we were told we cannot read, and yet they were written by our ancestors. If you come across some of those books, you will begin to see the footprints of the devil in the deception is bringing forth. The news is fake, television is fake, radio is fake, government is fake, religion is fake, government institutions are fake, all meant to dissuade you and mislead you and keep you busy, so busy that you do not have time to look for truth. Because I tell you most solemnly that our ancestors didn't have time to do the things we are doing right now. They had time to do other things. What is it what they were doing that we can't be able to do right now? The gods that were being worshipped in Egypt are the ancient gods, and I just come to discover that under the pyramids of Giza is one of the fallen angels where he is imprisoned, and his name is Azazel. I can't even make this stuff up. The aliens that we're talking about are demon spirits in themselves. Meat suits for these entities to occupy and exist in our plane. And they can tell us, oh, we have come to you from which constellation? And then you ask if we are able to get there. They say, oh, no, we come to you from where? Somebody used to say we come from Mars and Jupiter. But now when we were able to get there, they changed their story. So in short, it's late. If you still don't know what's going on, you have a very short time to figure out what's going on and get your heart right. I've talked. This is the only time I'm going to make this video about this stuff, and I can go back to making videos about relationships and all that stuff that people love to hear. And for the few who will see this video to the end, for the few who have come across the truth that they have come across, I pray to the Most High, Ahaya, that He guides you, and the remnants of Israel can be able to find themselves fight themselves and wait for the Most High to come. Our persecution is imminent. We will be slaughtered. You can only prepare yourself and ask for God's mercy and judgment. Be strong, Israel. Those of you who are aware of who you are and where you come from, and who has brought you this far. Be strong, because what is going to come is unlike anything that has been. But it's for a reason. It's a cleansing for our rebirth in God's kingdom. Receiving horizons, Nisiko's blood. Shit just fucking got real.